Greetings and salutations, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members, owners, friends, family, fans, whatever. It is I, James L. Seagraves, coming to you from the comfort of my own living room. You might hear some present wrapping in the background. My wife's is committed to wrapping about 1 billion Amazon boxes this morning. Yeah. So anyway, as you may have noticed, there was no podcast last week. Reason being is that, well, it was Black Friday week, plus I sustained a rather painful and serious, in my opinion, rib injury. Had to go to the hospital emergency room on Thanksgiving Day. That was fun. Ultimately, nothing was broken, just severely bruised, but it hurt to breathe, it hurt to talk, hurt to move, hurt to sleep, hurt to do everything. And it still hurts, but I can at least talk now and breathe, pretty well. It is getting better, although it still really hurts. So, wasn't really in the mood to do a podcast, plus it was Black Friday weekend, plus Thanksgiving, so needless to say, the Survivor League podcast was put on hold 1 week, and I apologize, but, we do have lives, and I was not in great shape last week. Still not in great shape. In fact, when my ribs weren't broken, I wasn't in great shape. Injured myself playing basketball, and I was out of breath after like 3 minutes anyway. So, short podcast today. I just want to break down, because Derek Gregory of Gregor Clegane fame, I don't know what the hell his team name is now, but something. He messaged me asking what the payouts were, and I will tell you, I'm going to go over that real quick. I'm also going to look at the playoff standings, or the playoff brackets as they stand right now. So, you may have noticed that there's this cool little tab here now. Let me just get this. I don't know why this thing always adjusts. There we go, that's better. You may have noticed this little tab right here. Oh, playoffs. Yep, playoffs. You click that, brings you to the playoff bracket. So let's do a quick rundown from the last 2 weeks of games here. Password is Taco. The 16 seed beat the 17 seed in week 1. And then, last week, Cassandra, Password is Taco, defeated Tenacious D, who was number 1 for pretty much the last 6 weeks of the year. Josh Crampton, what?
You don't say it.
I am saying it. Josh Crampton's team was number 1 for most of the year. Got beat after the first round bye. That sucks. Nevertheless, he's out. Password is Taco is in the Elite 8 of the MUSL playoffs. Going down here, Sticks It In Ya had a 100.31 performance against Malin Incorporated, one of the wild cards. She got drafted in and got her butt beat in. Look at this cool hair right here. You see this? I don't know what's going on here, but I don't care. Sticks It In Ya then went on to defeat Carry On Wayward Son, who had defeated Tallywhackers, the other Josh Crampton team. Josh Crampton officially out of the playoffs. They've had 2 teams make the playoffs. They're both out before the Elite 8. Shocking! What do you think? Is that shocking?
Considering didn't he win last year?
No, he isn't. I don't think he's ever won. But he's a winner in our hearts anyway. So Sticks It In Ya. Carry On Wayward Son defeated Tallywhackers, the other Crampton team, who was the 8th seed overall. And so he had a 1 and 8 seed. Yes, as my wife pointed out, Crampton not completely lost because he didn't even show up for our first week of the Magic the Gathering draft, and his fill-in went 3-0. So that was pretty good. Better than he did in the Survivor League playoffs anyway. Anyway, going down here, bring back the butt fumble. The lovable Tom Farmer just gets demolished by Play with Mike Ditka, Tony Cromwell's team, who, I will admit, took a verbal beating for the last several weeks because he was number 1, and then he basically free fell, barely made the playoffs based on points, in fact. Maybe that's part of his plan because he has scored 100 points for week 1, and then in week 2, Play with Mike Ditka went on to beat Bob Ames, the famous Bob Ames, 70.56 to 65.1 or whatever, and Play with Mike Ditka is now in the Elite 8. That's cute. Kakamba's number 12 loses to the New Orleans Rock Chucks. The fix is not in, as New Orleans Rock Chucks has defeated Kakamba's, a 21 seed based on points, defeated number 12 seed based on record, 84 to 73. And then this week, New Orleans Rock Chucks defeated yet another conference winner. Conference winners are falling like crazy here. The buys did no good, apparently. 81.21 to 53.11 over Monstars, which would be New Orleans Rock Chucks into the Elite 8. Scrolling down, a team has no name, also has no victories in the playoffs, as my ball Zach Ertz, Don Knapp's squad, rookie owner Don Knapp, defeated them, although Don Knapp's Cinderella season was cut short by Giggle Giggle, a conference winner who actually won their game by the score of 67.63 to 52.15 as Giggle Giggle moves into the Elite Eight. Going down here, Zeke's relationship corner, Tom Farmer's other squad. Tell you what, it's very impressive to get two teams in the playoffs, but unfortunately, neither of these owners who got two teams in the playoffs won a game in the playoffs. So it's like the Lions, Jesus. Melissa's Meatballs was a wild card, okay? You know that?
Wild card.
She was a wild card. 23, 24. Wait, no, maybe she wasn't. 24, 25, and 26. Melissa's Meatballs was not a wild card. Yeah, they had to have been. She was 6-5. She was definitely... She might have gotten in on points. She might have gotten in on points, actually. I don't remember how she got in. Shit. Let me see if I can figure that out.
Well, fake news.
Yeah, fake news. I know, yeah, right. Let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, there's 4 wild card teams. Melissa's Meatballs was the last one drawn in. The only team that wasn't 4-7 to get in on a wild card. 6-5. Melissa's Meatballs wild card team defeats Zeke's relationship corner in the first round of the playoffs, 67.3 to 48.2, and then goes on for notification with another wild card team based on, well, just wild card. That's why they're called wild card teams. 96.84 to 58.18 over GBC for notification, then loses to Melissa's Meatballs in the Sweet 16 round. Melissa's Meatballs now moves on to the Elite 8 as a wild card. This is why you don't give up on the season, folks. Melissa's Meatballs is 1 win away from a guaranteed payout, even though, I mean, she had a good season. She was 6-5. You know, it didn't make the playoffs naturally, but it was close.
6-5. That's better than Lions.
6-5 is definitely better than the Lions, no doubt about it. Then we go down to Hockenstein. Had a great rookie season. Comes in, 14 seed over Mayfield's Chubb, which is last year's winner, by the way. Alan Harvey's second team. His first team did not even come close to sniffing the playoffs. So we will have a new champion this year, no doubt about it. Hockenstein beats last year's champion by 10, goes into the Sweet 16, and then Bleeding Blue Bombers, as they've done for so long now, they were the number 2 seed overall. Bleeding Blue Bombers just bombed on Hockenstein. Hockenstein, hope your phone's working out great. I sold it to him. Hey. But unfortunately, your season comes to an end as a regular portion of the season. Now, there is a bonus round coming up in the NFL playoffs. We'll talk about that here at the end. We'll talk about that next week. And we'll continue to talk about it until it starts. And then, you know what, we might even talk about it then. Who knows? And then we go down to the final game of round 1 with Super Original, number 11, taking on the FL Farging Ice Holes, Tony Lay's team, who, I mean, looks like it might have got randomized, but there's no randomizer in this. And no, there's randomizer in the top seed on the regular bracket. Unfortunately, he wasn't randomized. He did submit a lineup that only scored 38 points. So, hey. And then Honolulu Blue Balls next week, Larry Weinberg's team, who totally, I mean, he was 8-3, but it seemed like he just stumbled into the playoffs. I don't know how, but I was in that conference, and thanks to old Ryan Frazier there, kind of cost me the playoffs. But anyway,
He's got a cute little girl.
Yeah, Super Original. His 2 teams combined, the teams he's played, has not outscored him in week 1. So Super Original's had some easy games, although he put up decent points, 84.62 and 79.23. But his opponents in the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, 38.87, and Weinberg laid up a 39.98 dud this week.
What a dud.
So, what a dud. So, we're going to look at the Elite 8 matchups right now. We got Password is Taco, Dom Valenti, not to be confused with any other people I know with a similar name. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yeah.
Told the people about it. 7-4 regular season taking on Sticks at Inya. That is a 16 seed versus a 9 seed. Derek Gregory's team was 8-3. He wants to know what the payouts is or are. He is confident. It hurts the hiccup. Oh my God, it hurts the hiccup. Sticks at Inya. So a 9 seed taking on a 16 in round 1, or the first game of the Elite 8. Play with Mike Ditka as a 20 seed. He was 6-5 but had over 1,000 points. That's how he got in the playoffs. 20 seed taking on the New Orleans Rock Chucks, the 21 seed. This is an upset special here as Monstars.
Is that Sarah?
That is New Orleans Rock Chucks is Aaron King, aka the conspiracy is in, or the fix is in. Conspiracy, whatever. I don't know what his nickname is.
Well, the fix and the conspiracy are pretty similar.
Yeah, my God, I gotta call Bosley Medical Center, or whatever the hell it's called. Looking at my hairline from this angle is not great. I'm sorry. I feel like fucking King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie. Then we got, so Play with Mike Ditka, 21, taking on a 20 seed. Great reason to believe that even though you might not have the best record in the world, you still have a chance to win money here. And speaking of that, Giggle, is he the only one? Yes, as of right now, the top half of Elite 8, none of them are conference winners. That means all of them won in round 1 and won in round 2. Going down here, Giggle is the first and potentially only, because I already said that my Bleeding Blue Bombers won. But Giggle taking on Melissa's Meatballs. Can the Cinderella recipe continue and defeat Giggle? We'll see. Giggle on the year was 9-2, scored over 1,000 points. They mean business. Have they already shot their, whatever you want to say it? Maybe. We'll find out. I mean, he has not scored a ton of points. He scored 67.63 points last week. So Giggle taking on Melissa's Meatballs, who, 6-5 regular season. It's, formidable. And then we got Bleeding Blue Bombers taking on Super Original as another conference champion. Honolulu Blue Balls lost. So Bleeding Blue Bombers and Giggle are the only 2 conference champions left in the Elite 8. Shocking. Are you shocked?
Shocked.
She's shocked.
Floored.
She's sitting on the floor and her finger is in a light socket. That's not true. Part of that's true. Only part of it. So, Super Original, the 11 seed, taking on the number 2 seed overall, I believe, is Bleeding Blue Bombers. No, he's number 3.
Seed. That's tough.
I think Bleeding Blue Bombers is the 3 seed. He was the 3 seed. Giggle's the 2 seed. So 2 and 3 still alive. Tenacious D gone. Stafford's Bastards gone. Monstar's gone. Honolulu Blue Balls gone. So all those teams are gone. Then we got the 7, 8 seeds gone. GBC and Tallywhackers. The 10 seed's gone. The 12 seed's gone. The 13 seed's gone. 14 seed. 15 seed. 16 seeds there. Hernandez Hitman's gone. My balls are. All these top seeds. I've never seen a year like this. It's nuts. It's absolutely insanity. Then we go down to the SUK bracket. We won't talk about it as much, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. Because there are people who still are in this, who actually do care, who didn't make the playoffs, who want to win free entry into MUSL 2020. 2020 is going to be a good year. What? So we get down to, now this year has an extra week, essentially, at the end. So we're not in the same stage. We just hit the Sweet 16 with this because there's this many teams. But we're going to summarize quickly. Brady's Balls won week 1, lost to Cloacal Kiss. Wait, Cloacal Kiss is Maddie Bradley. Whoops. I keep thinking Mainland Incorporated for some reason. I don't know what my problem is. Cloacal Kiss makes it into the Sweet 16, as well as Steel City Sackers. Dustin Hansen, he makes it in. The Bombers, the regular Bombers, went back to their old tradition of not submitting a lineup for week 1. So 52 Shades of Clay beat them. And then 52 Shades of Clay beats Andrew Brown's Can I Get a Hot Chub by default, because there is no randomizer in the SUK bracket because nobody gives a shit and there's too many teams do. So I'm not going to go through and babysit them. At this point, whatever. So 52 Shades of Clay has defeated 2 teams that have not submitted a lineup. Trump Up the Volume, however, they'll be playing this week as Steve Garrity takes on Bonnie Monahan in a matchup for the ages.
Oh, buddy.
The Black Hole. There we go. I got my black. Oh, that actually hurt to say.
Ridiculous.
The Black Hole. I had to hold my ribs when I say it. Defeated Your Mother Likes My lost. Wait, hold on. Shit. Lost to Your Mother Likes My Defense. And then Your Mother Likes My Defense lost to Trump Up the Volume this week. So Trump Up the Volume taking on 52 Shades of Clay in the Sweet 16 matchup there. And then Taco Tuesday had 107.27 points in week 1. Followed up by 59-point performance, which was not good enough for Built D Ford Tough. So Brian Brandhammer drops the old Brandhammer. Hey, let me see this. We got a bunch of ping pong balls, folks. This is for the lottery next year. That's actually not true. That's for ping pong, believe it or not. And we get down to 99% luck, 1% heart. Rocky Keeling defeated Cheechki, moves into the Sweet 16 to take on Brian Branham. Whispering Eyes, FarmersOnly.com. Matt Farmer had such a shitty season. Actually, he ended up being 6-5. That's crazy. I seem to be making fun of him the entire year, and he went ended up 6-5. So that's cool.
It's because of your excessive making fun of.
It's not because of my excessive making fun of.
He decided to play better.
FarmersOnly.com. Maybe he was on a date.
Ooh.
Potentially with a farm girl.
Wife.
With a farmer's wife. Is that what that's for? I thought it was just for farmers in general.
She could be a farmer's wife.
Maybe he's plowing the fields. We don't know. Speaking of which, Whispering Eyes, Jason Taylor's team, Yeah, Jason Taylor's hard up these days. He's in our league. 43.57 defeated FarmersOnly.com with a staggering 0 points. So he moves into the Sweet 16. Boston Georgie defeated my son last week. This week he goes up against the Papa Bear, and Papa Bear put Georgie in his place. George Richardson, kudos on a good year. 5-6. It's not bad for a rookie. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough to beat me, so now Providence Power moves on to take on Whispering Eyes.
No way.
Lesinski's Legends. I gave him a hard time most of the year, but he ended up being all right. And then, of course, Cody Cole. This is my year to not submit a lineup, apparently, week 1. So thanks for that. But he didn't have time to submit a lineup, but he certainly had time to blatantly get on Facebook and call me out for not watching Arizona, starring the infamous, what's his name? James McBride, who sounds like an actor from the 40s. It's actually Danny McBride. He doesn't know what's going on. James McBride was in there with old...
I don't know who James McBride is.
James McBride's not a real person. That's the whole point. He's like, "You've seen this movie with James McBride?" I was like, "Who the hell's James McBride?" Anyway, Lesinski's Legends beat him, and then goes on, and Lesinski's Legends defeats Brady O'Bush, who is a perennial playoff team, although not this year. As Ashley Cromwell sleeps with the fishes. Lesinski's Legends moves into the Sweet 16, the suck bracket. And then we got Nantab Knights defeating Squadrels, who didn't submit a lineup, which is shameful as a Seagraves, but hey, it is what it is. So Nantab Knights taking on Lesinski's Legends in the Sweet 16. Then we got Concussion Protocol defeating Collector Kings in round 1, and then comes on against... I'm going to do it for you, Pat Provost, one time. One time I'm going to do it. I'm going to say this full team name. As liberalism has eroded the foundations of the country and enough is enough, back to basics, folks. Defeated Concussion Protocol by a score of 88.6 to 59.23. So, second time, liberalism has eroded the foundations of this country and enough is enough, back to basics, folks. Moves into the Sweet 16, where I hope they lose, just so I don't have to read that name again. And then, amongst other reasons. And then we have DeWyans, Gary King's team, did not have a great year, defeating the old Apache Chiefs. Kind of ran them out of the country. 74.55 to 68.78. Only take on Toon Squad, who dropped over a hundy against him. So Toon Squad goes on to face that other team in the Sweet 16. We get down here, and this is awesome. This is awesome, folks. For the first time in the history of Michigan Ultimate Survivor League, we had two, not one, but two owners who didn't care to submit lineups in the playoffs, as Craig Monahan's Riverside Rage and Ring Course took on Chiz Nasty. Neither of them submitted lineups. That's Jeff Chisholm, by the way. Neither of them submitted a lineup, so neither of them won. So they ended up as a tie, and Nasty Nutria had to basically submit one player that was going to score to win, and she did. So Nasty Nutria gets in on the to the Sweet 16. That is Sarah, without doing much. And then, is that your final answer? Could have been squaring off against her, but my wife's not great at setting lineups, so I had to submit a lineup. What? I did. I submitted a lineup for you. You scored 63 points. She was on the go. She was on the go. She's on the go a lot. Lost to J Footman Can, however. So we're getting down here. The True Blue Wrecking Crew, which is Roger Brewer, who had a 2-9 season, defeats Alabama Muff Riders, scored 103 points, didn't need to score any because Alabama Muff Riders didn't submit a lineup. Brock Davis. See you later, Brock. He goes on. He did not bring his A game, though, to take on Rob Jasierski, who did bring his A game, as Better Bring Your A Game defeats them, who's in the Sweet 16. Then we have Bare Naked Tiggers taking on Ryan Frazier in the Battle of Old Sprint Employees, as Bare Naked Tiggers beats...
Is that Jackie?
Yeah, Now You See Me, Now You Don't by a score 62.96 to 0. And then Bare Naked Tiggers follows up that performance with not submitting a lineup against the Dublin Drunks, as the Dublin Drunks defeat them 57.93 to 0. It's 9:12. I gotta get in the shower. But yeah, so here are your Sweet 16 matchups for the Suck bracket. We got Cloacal Kiss versus Steel City Sackers, 52 Shades of Clay versus Trumpet the Volume, Built D Ford Tough versus 99% Luck, 1% Heart, Whispering Eyes versus Providence Power, Lesinski's Legends versus Nantab Knights, Liberalism, blah, blah, blah versus Toon Squad, Nasty Nucha versus J Footman Can, Better Bring Your A Game versus the Dublin Drunks. In the Sweet 16, remember, regular MUSL playoffs in the Elite 8 now, because it only goes to Week 16. The other one goes till Week 17. And then people are talking about payouts. I've already went over this once. I'll go over it again. I've actually gone over it twice. My wife has some weird thing holding up her PayPal. She has to verify her identity or some nonsense, which she should be doing instead of wrapping presents, but whatever. 26 teams make the playoffs. The 6 conference champions each win $50. So even though 4 out of those 6 conference champions lost already in the playoffs, they're still getting how much? $50. That's right. And then...
It's the same every year.
It's not the same every year, because not every year they don't get it. It all depends. If there's like 12 conferences, not everyone gets one. It all depends on every team. So, if you reach the Final Four, so this is very important, folks, before I go. If you win this weekend in that regular bracket up top, you get a guaranteed, because you're in the Elite 8, you get a guaranteed $50 payout, period, okay? So 4 people will get $50 on top of what they may have already won. So $50 going out to 4 winners this week, the 4 winners, okay? And then, the next week, those 4 teams will play, okay? And how they do there depends how much money they get, okay? So the winners of next week will move on to the championship game. The losers of next week will move into the 3rd place game, okay? And then that final week, week 16, the winner of that winner's game, which would be the Ultimate Michigan Ultimate Survivor League champion, will get an additional $550 on top of the $50 they win for the Final Four. So that's good for a total of $600 payout, plus potentially $50 if you win your conference. Second place will get an extra $200. So second place will get an extra $250. Third place, in that 3rd place, 4th place game, will win an extra $50, so they'll get $100. So no matter what, if you win this week, you're getting at least $50. And then you basically make more money based on how you do the following week. So that is, that's basically it. Quick breakdown. I mean, there's, over, I think, $1,100 worth of prize money. More than that, actually. Way more than that, I think. Yeah, way more than that. 912, 1150, 1250, about $1,300 in prize money going out. Yeah, that's it. Submit your lineups, even if you're in the suck bracket. Also, want to let you know if you're still watching this and you're, in the league, but you're not in the league, don't forget that your season is not over officially, because we do the Michigan Ultimate Survivor League Playoff Challenge. I don't know what that noise was. Which actually runs during the NFL playoffs. That is not a head-to-head league. That's just a total points league. It's fun still. Gives you something to root for. And that's all I got. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.